Testes, testes, one, two, three. uh, let's see if this works. Connection established. That's good. Excellent connection. That's also good. Hey, there we go. Looks like it's working. So it's kind of strange that you have to have YouTube open to stream, but nonetheless, I can handle that. Day 13, I didn't stream yesterday. I was tired. Oh, that's exactly what I was looking for before, because my camera died. It's too advanced yet to talk about hormones, but I find it will be incredibly informative for people when I'm putting it on Start Building Me in conjunction with blood tests to see exactly sort of how hormones play into your mood and well-being is something that I think is sort of the next frontier, especially how it integrates with genetic engineering and stuff like that. It's truly going to be an awesome time to be alive. So stay tuned for that. I thought instead for this Monday to try and convince people about changing habits, I'd bang on some more about The Power of Habit by, what was it, Charles Duhigg, I can't remember his name. Check it out. I bought it on Kindle. You can get it hard copy, whatever. I think it's such an important thing. I was just remembering he was talking about, I talked about keystone habits already, and how I think exercise and diet are the primary and most important keystone habits. He talked about anything, and especially with exercise and with diet, to have a cue for doing it. So his suggestion, and it's funny, it's just stuff that I've done my whole life, is have your running shoes if you go for a morning run next to your bed. And so when you lace them up, that's like a cue. For me, what I used to do when I was boxing, and my ma will remember this, I used to go to sleep in what I would get up at 4 a.m. to go for a jog with. She used to come with me sometimes and we'll just walk. And so you just get out of bed and you're ready to go. So you're a lot more inclined to get up and start running if you don't have to, if you have no excuse not to, like, it's cold or something like that, you'll be ready to go. What cues do I have these days? Dogs, I guess. The dogs are a great cue. You see those literal puppy dogs out there looking at you. And it took a while for them to get into walking. They weren't sure, what was going on and what the whole fuss was about, but now they love it. And, dogs, they just get it out there for a smell. So that's another good cue to get out and get going. Getting out of the house is a great cue. So I know for me to go to the gym at the moment, my biker gym, they're cool dudes, but oh my goodness, it's quite funny. I like getting out of the house, put some music on, listen to some heavy death metal or some podcasts or something like that. But it's good to get out of an environment that you're constantly in. I can remember when living in shared accommodation, when I was working and sleeping in the same room, how taxing that is on you. I find it hard to get a good training session in at home. Seriously, when you go to a gym or something, or you go to a public place, people are going to look. You're not going to be doing a half-assed job out of it. That's why sport's good. If you sign up to a team, it's like Fight Club. You have to fight. You go to a rugby and, you have to go and play footy or something like that. You're not going to not play by signing up. So that's a good little cue as well, I suppose. And then something to reinforce the habit, he suggests, is a reward. So that's why I guess it instantly sprung to my mind what protein shakes are and why they're brilliant to me is you're hard pressed to find somebody in life who doesn't like a smoothie that they can customize and whatever it is that they like, or a milkshake, right? And so I blend between one or the others depending on what I'm feeling like and can make it taste really good. Like I've no problems ever being like sculling a smoothie or sculling a protein shake. It's the easiest reward ever. Plus, for me, I'm getting 60, sometimes 90 grams of protein in there. You can make it vegan if you want, pea or rice protein like I use at the moment to prevent gas, or whey protein if you can stomach it. I got some from good old Chemist Warehouse the other day, and last night it was not pleasant for my spouse in our house because the gas was flowing, and I'm not talking about natural gas. So it just depends if you can stomach it or not. But that's my reward system. So, and the best thing about that reward system is by having this amount of steak equivalent, or fish equivalent of protein, you're healing all the muscles that you've just damaged. And the long-term reward for that is brilliant, but that's not necessarily something that's going to reinforce the habit to somebody who doesn't have the habit already. So that's why make it taste sweet, I suppose. Put sugar or honey or something in it to make it be more enjoyable for you. Like me, I can put amino acids in a glass and scull it, and it tastes good to me because I know the effects it's going to have. My cousin said the exact same thing when I used to train with him in Bali. He's like, I don't mind drinking it, even though it tastes like a salty mess, because I know what it's gonna do. And afterwards, surf would have these amino acids. And here's a guy who, he awesome surfer, but never went to the gym or anything like that until I sort of started making him, and started realizing that you could have a mad surf session, take amino acids, and the next day you feel good again. So anybody that does any sport or exercise who trains with a certain amount of, rigor and intensity will find that there is absolutely no way that you're going to avoid amino acids or protein formula, which is something that will really reinforce your habit. The best thing about that as well is by suppressing the ghrelin, the hormone that makes you hungry, from the protein consumption, there's a good chance you'll eat a lot less after that for dinner. And if you still do, double the protein in the next scoop and see if that still remains the same. For me, like I said, sometimes 60 to 90 grams because I can tolerate it a lot. Mine is measured in a very sophisticated way of how much tolerance for protein I have by trial and error. If you have too much protein where your body doesn't require it, you'll find you expel it in the fashion of having diarrhea. So you'll know how much you can have before your body purges it, because it realizes it's unnecessary. So that's a way you can find out how much protein you can handle. 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight is what's recommended for an athlete. I claim that's what's recommended for everybody. You can get that protein from any form, plant-based, meat-based, alien-based, for all I know. You'll find something that works for you. People think it's expensive. My protein ends up costing me about $2 a shake, which is very affordable. I live mainly on protein, which is very cheap, pea protein, chocolate flavored, no sugar, oats and a banana a day. And that's pretty much where most of my nutrients come from. I have fish oil at night. I'll have a video maybe tomorrow, which is my current nutrient regime. Slightly different than usual. I'll still have branched chain amino acids while I'm at the gym in my water bottle. I don't have creatine because I'm trying to drop a little bit of body fat at the moment. I don't need it. A friend tipped me off to acetyl and L-tyrosine, which is good precursor for building dopamine, which is something that's been suggested to me in the past, which is what my body perhaps has difficulty creating, as well as naturally having low estrogen, which is what makes me so angry. But thank goodness for beer. Beer ended up raising my estrogen, so you got to take the bitter with the sweet, I suppose. Other than that, I think that's fine. I bang on more and more than I need to at the moment, but like I said, this is more of a vlog for notes that I'm taking at the moment for a site that I'm building, trying to think of hacks to make people realize that exercise and diet isn't just a lifestyle, it is the lifestyle that everybody needs to do. It should be seen as like drinking water, sleeping 8 hours a night, eating food, but eating healthy food and exercise. Gone are the times where the government's going to be spending a whole lot of money and having curative medicine. We're going to be forced into preventative medicine. You mark my words. As an analyst who's been working in private and public healthcare for the last 17 years, the ride's coming to an end very soon. The system isn't sustainable. They're going to have to make some big changes, and a big change would have to be pushing people into the realms of preventative medicine, which I think is the cutting edge and very, very effective. And you can see if stuff's going wrong for a lot earlier with blood tests by looking at your liver values, kidney values, red and white blood cell count. You can see how healthy you are. It's like a snapshot in the future. And if you maintain that lifestyle, it's a good chance you're not going to get sick. And people say, oh, but genetics. It's like, yeah, well, that's a very, very small percentage, and never forget it. And just because you know someone that got cancer that was due to genetics and not due to poor lifestyle choices, it's very unlucky. It really still is that unlucky. You'll usually find, in my vast wealth of knowledge of looking into this data, that it boils down to sedentary lifestyle, overconsumption, including bad diet, alcohol, cigarettes. And that's it for the time being. I really like that backdrop. That was a good morning. It was a nice enough morning to have gotten up. I guess that would have been a little bit past 5 o'clock in Maroubra. I mean, I would have been going to work anyway, so that was cool. Anyway, I'll keep it at that. Catch you later.